Hi. Welcome, everybody.
Hi.
The Sidekick Podcast. I am your host, David, here with my esteemed colleagues and also hosts. um, we have Michael. What was your nickname? Um, Michael Asiffo.
Whoa,
Uh,
whoa,
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 whoa, whoa, whoa,
Whoa!
whoa,
whoa.
bruh.
Have you seen that meme with the kid? Like, whoa,
Oh,
with the red turtleneck.
man.
Yeah. And we got Jeremy Bone Crusher Asiffo. I like that nickname for Jeremy. That should be your actual nickname.
Do you want it to be
Um,
Bone Crusher?
it has to be Bone Crusher. It's not what I want. It's what like the streets need, really.
That's what the streets need.
How
I'm
we
just
doing?
glad I didn't get a nickname like ass.
I mean,
I'm fortunate for that.
have you seen the Badonkadonga, Michael? I mean, hey, I'm a straight man, but
Yo,
Oh, the
yeah.
Donkey
baby
Dog.
got back,
Hey, yo. Yeah,
Hey,
have you got?
yo.
Oh, I was trying to explain. I was trying to teach Jeremy this lately, but like this side talk thing, when someone hears something gay, they'll be like, "Hey, yo."
Yeah.
It's a new
Hey,
thing.
yo. Yeah,
It's
no, for sure.
Yeah, it's a new thing of like saying, and I quote from Boondocks, "Nigga, that's gay." it's the new nigga, that's gay. Like,
Yo, hilarious.
Hey.
It's not new, Michael. The rest of
Hey.
us have been using it for years.
Hey, all I know is that girls come up to me and they're always talking about how I got a cute butt. I don't know. So I feel
Well-
like I kind of got the title for that.
Wait, okay. So you guys are fighting
Oh.
for the nickname ass. Got it. That's what I got.
whoa.
We're
He
fighting
can
for
have
that
it.
nickname.
He can have it. Hey,
Alright.
man.
Michael, you're officially Bone Crusher. Jeremy, you are now ass.
Oh, damn. That did not work out in my favor.
See how quickly things change. Gentlemen, how are you doing this fine Sunday evening/night?
You know what? It was a good day for mixed martial arts as a whole yesterday, and I'm very happy, and I'm very happy to talk about it because we're gonna get into it, but it was a very good day for mixed martial arts.
Okay, that's a weird response to how are you, Jeremy? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a good weekend. Chill. Very
Well,
nice. Full of sports. What about you, David? How you doing?
I'm
buddy?
good. Can't complain. Went to Manchester yesterday actually, to watch a live game. Talked a little bit about that before we started recording. Crazy. As I said, COVID is over in the UK. There's no such thing as-
Apparently.
Yeah, it's not-
I
despite
gotta
us,
ask you guys. I gotta ask you guys about Boris Johnson. What's his approval rating like after he had that garden party or whatever? Like, what's going on there?
When it first came up, I was like, well, first of all, I just want to say for the record, I really don't care about politics. Like, those days are done. Like, I don't care which way you swing, left, right, like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, I honestly could care less.
As long as you meet in
Why?
the mid.
Yeah. Just because it's just like, I don't want to be like,
Nihilistic, but they're both correct.
nihilistic. They're both like, just
Yeah.
the whole thing is just such a facade. And it's so silly.
I like the word. I like the word facade.
It's just so fugazi, to use another word.
Fugazi.
I don't know. I just feel like they're really both sides. I don't want to say both sides are as bad as the other, but like the whole political
I guess,
is sick. It's sick, and especially in the UK here, where like, and in Canada, to be fair, like just the whole like tactics used by both sides, like there really is no like morality in it.
Man,
which-
Justin Trudeau wasn't even trying to hide it. He's like, he knows exactly who his base is and who isn't, and he was like, yo, the people who are unvaccinated are also racist. And let's be honest, we I mean, I'm paraphrasing.
No,
He
I
didn't
remember
to the
that.
letter. Huh?
JT might as well. Yeah,
He didn't say that to the letter, but like you know what he means. Like, and here's the sad thing is when he said it, and I was thinking about it, I'm like, statistically, he's not wrong.
Wait, are we talking about the same Justin Trudeau who wore blackface to his
Exactly.
Christmas? Or-
But like,
okay.
I was gonna say that. I'm like,
Just making
statistically,
sure.
he's not wrong.
Oh yeah,
but
he knows
he is the
because
one
he's
who
one
won-
of them. I guess.
Yeah, but he is the one who wore blackface. So like, come
I
on.
can't go. I got some really off the record wild takes about Justin Trudeau. So, but I want to go back to Canada, so I'm gonna save it for now. Anyway, gentlemen, we're here to talk.
Imagine David pulls up to the airport like, "I'm sorry, you're on the no-fly list."
Hilarious. Yo, we were one of your 30 YouTube views, and we listened. So so you canceled.
He was like, "Yo, David, talking that shit.
Yeah,
talking that
real.
shit. You're gonna go to the white room.
Nah, man, Canada's soft. We don't no fly anybody. Everybody, come on.
Facts. But you know what? I'm not here to rag on Canada. Shout out to Canada. Thank you for taking us immigrants in. But pay us though. That'd be cool too. Anyway, gentlemen, fights. Well, before fights, we have news, right?
Yep.
Oh wait, hold on. Before we start, I just wanted to commiserate with the rest of my West Africans. I think at this point we only have Senegal here to represent for us. Cameroon, I guess, but apparently Cameroon's claiming Central Africa, which is weird to me because I think they like share a border with Nigeria, so that's weird. Yeah, just Nigeria, Ghana, all just putting out a flop show in the African Cup of Nations. I'm glad that Stefano's not here because this is not something I'll be able to talk about. But
well, Italy's out of the World Cup, so like it's fine. That's why he's salty.
Hilarious. Are Italy out? No, they have a playoff. They're gonna be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're not out, but like they're in the same situation. We're all in trouble.
Well, and what else does Stefano represent? Romania, Hungary? I can't remember.
Ukraine. I think Ukraine.
They're garbage. So please don't help me, guys. Please don't.
Yeah, they're going through a civil war, but yeah, no. But yeah, soccer is definitely on their mind right now. It's
hilarious. That's funny. Okay.
That's what sports are. They're a distraction from real life.
It's true. But when the civil war is at your door,
we're here to pump the machine.
Okay. Damn, that's a sobering take, Jeremy.
I'm sorry. I'm taking it too far.
Every once in a while,
these are jokes. I'm just trying to.
Yo,
but
man,
Jeremy, every once in a while, you'll hit somebody with a ray of truth when they don't see it coming, and it just like it hits the soul. Like, yeah.
I'm dazed. I'm stunned. But yeah, no, I just want to say about Nigeria, I've been led astray, run amok, bamboozled by the behavior and quality of football out there. Yeah, I don't even know who to blame. Definitely the goalie. Definitely Alex Iwobi. Hang it up.
Well, he had a tough.
And you're not welcome in Nigeria no more.
Whoa.
Give it up. I know you're JJ Okocha's nephew, but like, no, man, we don't rate you. Go back to playing for England. I'm joking, but still, like, very disappointing. Very disappointing. I was actually excited about the African Cup of Nations, and now I'm not even sure I'm going to be watching the rest of the tournament. That's how hurt I am.
Of course, you're not going to be watching the rest of the tournament. Your team's out.
I've been watching every game, like, pretty much. I've been watching even, like, random countries, like Equatorial Guinea, Gambia, like, Ciryl Gane.
Comoros, pulling off the upset.
Yo.
Fuck me. Like,
Africa Challenge, pick out Comoros on an African map, okay?
Dude,
on the map of Africa.
I didn't even know who the fuck Comoros was.
I didn't even know they were a country.
Yeah, I didn't know Comoros was a country.
No disrespect. And Ghana, ultimate.
No, all disrespect. Who the fuck are these guys? How
ultimate L? The fact that they beat Ghana, I mean, we were just talking about before this pod, just like Ghana is going through a dearth of talent right now. Like, you really have like maybe 3 or 4 like good players.
That's not true.
And they're all kind of like mid. Let's be honest.
They're not true. That's not true. But
it's very true. Don't listen to Michael. He doesn't follow football. He thought like Thomas Partey didn't play yesterday or play in the last game, so he doesn't know anything about football or soccer. But yeah, I just wanted to get that off my chest. But thankfully, we have West Africa taking over the MMA game, so we got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
Wait, before we start, is Ciryl Gane from West Africa?
No, he's French. He's French. He's born and raised in France.
All right. So where's his parents from? No,
that's a good point. That's actually a good ask. I can pull that up for you.
Name to me.
Well, as I ask, who wants to transition? As I stall for me and transition the news while I look for Ciryl Gane's country. So transition, everybody.
Hold on, I'm looking it up.
No, just transition and look it up after.
Oh, okay.
So that way I can cut that part out.
Transition.
Let's get into the news and views of the week.
Ciryl Gane is from Guadeloupe. His dad is from Guadeloupe.
Yeah. Which is like Central America. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they call it the Caribbean. So
yeah.
No, fair enough. Not African, but we still claim you.
But African descendant.
Sure. I mean, if you want to go into the history of slavery, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
African
No, we were doing a slavery pod, but I'd be down.
Meanwhile, whoa. Oh, politics.
Okay. Yeah, politics, never.
History.
Okay,
what?
Jumping into some MMA news. I mean, where do we start? It's been kind of a slow week for MMA news, in my opinion. Not a lot going on. I guess to begin with.
Sorry, go ahead.
Luis Teixeira versus Yuri Prohaska has been announced for the light heavyweight title fight in UFC 274. Interesting. Well, I was going to say interesting matchup, but this kind of feels like one of those, if you know what I mean.
What do you mean? Like it's just going to be, run of the mill. Yuri Prohaska's going to get taken down and smothered, or you think?
It's funny. No. I think this might be Glover Teixeira's last fight in the UFC. No disrespect.
Who knows what Yuri Prohaska's ground game is like? Because when Glover gets a hold of these guys, like everyone's seeming to like have a lot of trouble, when Glover gets a hold of you. So who knows, man? Like for all we know, Glover could double leg this guy and control him for the better part of 3, 4, 5 rounds before getting a submission or comfortably cruising to a decision. Or Yuri could do what he's been doing and knocking people the fuck out. But like there is actual intrigue to this. I don't want to say like it's, one of those.
Okay. I mean, I disagree, but I guess we will see. Nobody's perfect, right? So, you're right. Glover could take him down, start smothering him, start, using his jiu-jitsu. But something tells me if Prohaska calls himself an MMA fighter, he's probably been working on his ground game to some degree. So, I don't know. Other than that, yeah, it's been a really slow week. I see here that former UFC champ Jessica Andrade is going to be returning to strawweight to fight Amanda Lemos.
Yeah.
On that.
2 jacked girls. That's basically what's going to go on.
Cool. Neil Magny versus Max Griffin is going to be in the works. I only say this, not because we hate Neil Magny or anything, but I feel like Neil Magny was one of the few people to actually call out Khamzat for a fight. So I think that the fact he's being paired off means that Khamzat fight is not happening. So that's interesting.
Well, yeah. What's crazy, too, is like Khamzat was like, yeah, everyone's ducking me. Neil Magny's like, I'm not, I'll fight you. And then, but people are like, but you'll lose, though. It's like, okay, that doesn't work that way. You can't be like, oh, everyone's ducking me, and then turn around and be like, oh, but you're not allowed to fight me, even though you're calling me out. Yeah. No, that's it. It's the same thing with Islam Makhachev when he was like, he's calling out like RDA and Tony Ferguson, and Dan Hooker's like, I'll fight you though. And he's like, no. But anyway, everyone's ducking me. It's like, what are you talking about?
It doesn't work like that, yeah.
What are you talking about? Like, Islam
Makhachev. Yeah. I get it. He wants probably a bigger name than Neil Magny, just like Islam Makhachev. I wouldn't say his stock didn't rise from submitting Dan Hooker, but at the same time, like he wants.
It was a nothing fight, yeah. Like, it didn't help or hurt him. Like it's weird. So I understand why Khamzat's like, no, but at the same time, then don't say guys are ducking. You just say like maybe the guys at the top are ducking you. You know, like that's basically it.
Okay, and then the only other piece of news that I can really see is that Nate Diaz and Dustin Poirier are supposed to get matched up, which is an interesting fight for the spectacle. I don't know if it has any title ramifications or anything like that, but I'd be interested to see that. But unfortunately, it's not been booked yet, and the UFC has been coming under a lot of fire, at least on my timeline, because of the whole like fighter pay stuff. So. Yeah, it's been a really quiet period for the UFC.
Yeah. Oh, there is this little. Actually, no, I don't even want to talk about it because, like, I don't want to be another one of those MMA promotions talking about this thing. But there's another. There's other couple pieces of news.
Is it one FC robbing
no
against Supergirl? Because that was a shame. You know, Supergirl is an adjacent friend of the pod, so we love her because her sister was on here.
Yeah. But, and was giving us all the time in the world and wonderful.
Exactly, which looking back was a huge mistake on her part because we really done nothing with the momentum.
Hey, bless her heart though. She gave us like an hour of her time, and
yeah, she treated us way more credibly than we actually are. Shouts out to her though. Little did she know, a few months later, we would literally be a podcast of three guys in their bedrooms. Jeez, how have we fallen? Sorry, what were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, in fairness though, like at the time, we were in the studio. COVID was like, we thought it was behind us. We were getting ready to move onward and upward. We interviewed Chuck Congo like the week before, and Smiling Sam Alvey, and you know what I'm saying, and Shoni Carter.
We're doing things.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, COVID.
Yeah, we're still doing things. We're still doing things. There's no word. There's no past tense. We're still out here.
But yeah. And every once in a while, we'll run into a popular video here and there, like, but yeah, it is what it is.
But no, that decision was awful. I can't remember.
She got robbed.
Yeah, I think it was like Ekat's Arena or something like that. And like, yeah, no, she absolutely got robbed. And I like Supergirl, but yeah, not a good look to get beaten in a stand-up in a Muay Thai fight, pretty much, against. I guess not a non-Thai, but not even like a particularly dynamic.
But I think it's time to because we see Tetsuya Nasukawa, who beat a Lumpini Stadium champion. Like a couple years back, we saw it. Is Muay Thai. This is the thing about the sport; it evolves, and people add their own little things in there. And the thing about Muay Thai is, if you have a traditional style, it means you have styles that have blind spots.
You sounding like a trader right now.
No, I'm not saying that as a hater, because there are guys who've shown examples of being old school traditional, but still addressing those blind spots that Muay Thai has. Like, for example, can't defend a body shot to save their lives.
Hilarious.
Like, am I wrong?
Getting hit by body shots. Damn.
Am I wrong? Like,
you're very right. Like, that's the first thing guys like start throwing at me, and I'm just like, what is going on? Like, why
well, there's other styles that have it too. So there's like, it's not like you're gonna find the perfect defense, right? But my point is that like things like movement, things like getting a high, like having your high guard be that perfect mix of being able to see, but like defending yourself when ready. Like, these are the things that I don't think old school Thai guys have really addressed like to its proper form. But you're starting to see gyms like Yakao, right, and ironically Fairtex, do things to figure it out. Which is why I would say there does need to be a bill of a referendum on, if you're from Thailand, you're automatically going to beat everybody in a striking contest. No, it's not that simple. Like, it's not. There are holes that guys are learning to exploit.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's no such thing as a perfect style.
Yeah.
Do MMA. I'm joking. Even that, there's no such thing as perfect style. I also wanted to say I just really, really kind of enjoyed that UFC cards. The last one. When was it? January 14th. Main event. won't really talk about that. No disrespect. But Shang Jingyan was against Ayaka Miura. Miura
Man,
met.
she got old in a hurry. No,
Wait, Miura or Shang Jingyan?
Miura.
Okay, I don't know. I just really liked her outfit. Like she killed it. That was my technical analysis there.
I'm not gonna lie, that was such a like my girlfriend would say that. Like it's like, oh, but
I
she
really liked her outfit, man. It was swaggy. I don't know what to tell you, man. It looks great. She didn't really put up much of a fight, and I really think like Zhang Jingyang didn't really get out of like second gear, in that fight.
No, that's my point. Is that like, man, Miura? Like I remember Miura gave was it Angela Lee like issues, and then to come into this fight against Jin Yan, and basically poop the bed and gas out within the round. It's kind of weird. No, she got old in a hurry, but
Wow, see, and my take is bad. Anyway,
what do you
then
think?
Pardon?
What do you think of it then?
I just thought she was outclassed. Period. I thought she couldn't hang in the feet. She was trying to like get her to the ground, and Shang Jinyan was just maybe younger is a better word, but I thought she was just like a little bit fresher. Didn't think she had much power, no pop in her shots like at all. But at the
You
same
know it's
time,
bad when Miura was doing like the jujitsu, like hold the hands out to try to grab her thing.
not a good. I've been hearing a lot of people like kind of rag on female MMA, and this was not one of those fights which I would use to bring to like defense. Uh,
Oh,
yeah, no, it was not. It was not the highest level in my opinion. Then we had a pretty high level Muay Thai fight actually with Tawan Chai versus Simapech. I probably said that wrong, but luckily Michael is not Thai, so he can correct my spelling on that, my pronunciation on that. Um, and that was pretty good. Tawan Chai is a new up and comer. I mean, new as far as Muay Thai guys go. I think he's like
AKA he has 30 fights.
no, I think he has like 200 fights or something like that. Like, yeah. I'm like, let me just look at his record right now.
Yeah, it's like this new up and comer who's currently 650 and 37. Like,
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. He literally has 126 wins, 31 losses.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But I will say though, they count it from like from you could be doing like amateur Muay Thai. Well, not amateur, but like you could be doing Muay Thai as like a 6-year-old,
Yeah.
right? Like with
And
with shin pads and knee pads, and that counts. It counts.
Yeah, no,
You
I
know what I'm
agree.
saying?
Yeah. But he looked good though, man. Like he was giving some trouble, especially with the speed of his kicks, and and his boxing looked pretty good. And eventually he kind of caught him, and that's all she wrote, really. Like, yeah, I thought it was a good fight.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah, I've already covered Supergirl losing. I enjoyed Tiffany Tell versus Mang Bo. That was like an old school female MMA fight. Personally, I like that one because Mang Bo had like some decent boxing, but Tiffany Tao just like leagues and above of like the ground game. And as soon as she was able to get her hands on her, like it was kind of a wrap. Then we had an interesting fight.
Man, are you going through the entire card?
I thought it was a good card. That's what I'm saying. Okay, shouts out to Shinya Kamikobo. And oh no, the one that I really want to talk about is Senso Ikeda versus I'm not even gonna say this guy's name, Sirigar. Because the other guy put it on him. He put it on Ikeda, and in my opinion, he was losing that fight in that third round. But somehow finds a way to land that body shot. He rips to the body a few times, and then they break, and then there's a little bit of interaction, and then Ikeda finally just like lands another couple of body shots, and that was it. Like it was really a case of kind of digging deep and landing that final shot. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. But yeah, that's to say the ONE FC card this past week or so, I guess 2 weeks at this point, was not bad. So check it out. It's for free on YouTube. So yeah.
It has its I guess you would say it's bright spots in the card. Like there are some bright spots in there. And yeah, it was fun. Like
It was almost a double knockout with the Greek dude.
Stovall Furitas versus Ayazev.
Yeah, that was good. You see, man, like, don't make me fun of me. Like, it was better than this card that we're about to review. So, hey.
Okay. No. Relax. Calm down. Sir, calm down.
All right.
But yeah, okay. Anybody have anything they want to talk about before we move on? Like,
you said you had a couple of pieces of news, but if it's trash news, then don't even worry about it.
No. It's trash. I will say, but boxing news. There wasn't there?
Are we going back to? Yeah, man. There was a.
Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Transition
it up, baby.
Wow. What a week of boxing we get to talk about today.
But boxing.
Wait, hold on. Before you begin, Jeremy, did you actually watch the Gary Russell Jr. fight?
Somewhat. I had it split screened up, so like I did watch it, and like I did it, but I can't really like go into like technically, all that. But I was just gonna let the audience know what happened. So
yeah, no. I'm just saying that what's it called? It's official. Jeremy is a hardcore. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, how? Why so? Never mind.
Because nobody knows Gary Russell, with all due respect. Like,
what are you talking? He's one of the fastest boxers of all time.
Fastest boxers? Is there a way we can statistically measure that, or are we just doing our hype?
I don't know how hand speed is measured. Like, they're not like PFL where they have the fucking sensor in the gloves. So I can't tell you. But like,
I don't know. I feel like if you watch boxing, you should know who Gary Russell Jr. is. He has like a lot of title defenses, and he holds the WBC, which is like the most prestigious belt, also the most corrupt belt, by the way. Are you guys seeing what they're doing to my man Dillian White?
Oh yeah, they're fucking him in the ass, bro.
Wait, what's happening to Dillian White? I know what that is.
Dillian White is. They're saying that Dillian White should take an 80-20 split with Tyson Fury.
Wait, what does that mean? Sorry.
The purse.
Of pain. That's crazy. But
that's crazy.
Honest,
like Dillian White deserves way more than that. Dillian White has come into contact with every decent heavyweight. Joseph Parker, Joshua. He's gone up against a lot of cats, and like he only has, I want to say, 2 losses, one to Joshua, one to Povetkin. Dillian White is worth more than 20, an 80-20 purse. So yeah, that's a robbery. That's some corruption, and the WBC is backing Tyson Fury. So they're showing their true
colors.
But
you know why they're doing that? Because Dillian White doesn't draw like Tyson Fury draws. They like, if the WBC, if you were put a guy in the WBC, if you were put an executive on the WBC branch, executive branch in a corner and put a gun to his head and say, what would you rather, Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou or Tyson Fury versus Dillian White? They would 100% in a heartbeat say Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. So it goes to show you why these guys do what they do. It's money. Dillian White is not a draw like, the other guys are a draw. They'd rather Usyk versus Tyson Fury right now, even though Usyk literally doesn't have the WBC belt, versus rather than Fury versus Dillian White.
At the same time, though, it's probably up in the air who's a bigger draw between Dillian White and Usyk, though. So I don't know. I see where Jeremy's coming from. In my opinion, and in the UK, he's huge. He's one of the biggest boxers in the UK. And I know that Tyson Fury is also from the UK, so that would be a massive, massive fight for UK boxing. So I see why he would deserve more than 20. 50-50, I'm not sure about that.
No, not 50-50.
No. I think probably a 65-35 split would be good, or somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, but like I think 80-20 is disrespectful. Like that's like no boxer should have to hear that. Like none.
Yeah.
Zero. No, there's some boxers. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, like that's
no.
garbage.
But Gary Russell Jr., who has been the I want to say 130, or I don't know. 130 or 135. I think it might be 135. He's been the WBC champ for a long time. I want to say 6 title defenses, and I think this is going to be his 7th. And he got upset by Mark. I'm not sure to say his last name, but it's a Filipino last name.
Masiango.
Huh? You saw it? You know his name?
Yeah, Masiango.
Thank you. So yeah, that was an upset, and Gary Russell Jr. lost because he was not really fighting with his left hand, or was it his right hand? And he was kind of only being defensive. He wasn't really throwing shots back, and the young Filipino was just being really aggressive and just kind of one off of activity.
It's not just I wish I could bring Ashley on and be like, hey, you say this nigga's name for us. Like, come on, what's his
Ashley. Ash. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was interesting. It was an upset for sure. Decent card, but I really don't know where Gary Russell Jr. goes from here, because he's kind of just stayed at that division, and it's not really a sexy division. So it's like you could have kind of like moved up to the more profitable divisions.
But the problem with Gary Russell is like, what was Gary Russell, like 5'2"? Like I'm being facetious, but like he's very
small. No. Yeah, I mean, and to be honest, if you have 6 title defenses, it's clearly that that's the division you're meant to be. But I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know where he goes from here. I don't know if he retires. I'm not too sure, really. I don't know what his options are. But
credit to the. Sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. I was basically done.
Yeah, no, I'm saying credit to Masango Jr. Jr. because Masango Jr. like really did fight a good, smart game plan. Stayed out, used really good distance management, good pressure fighting. I liked it. I thought he did a really good job out there. So credit to him. And I thought like I said, Gary Russell in his peak was one of the fastest boxers of all time. So
yeah.
So
his only loss was to Lomachenko.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so it's not like Gary Russell can't fight. So we gotta give this kid some credit. I thought Gary Russell did look off, but at the same time, how much of that is because Masiango did him a number there. So
this guy, you're butchering this guy's name, man.
Hey, whatever.
Asiago. Sanya,
Asiago Raj Combo Jr.
Hilarious for real, man. It's Magsayo. I just looked it up. Like, where are you getting that?
Because you have to Filipino it up, bro.
Yeah, you do.
You can't be out here going Magsayo. Come on, it's Masiago.
Here we go. Anyway, sorry.
All right, how dare you? All right. Watch this man come here and be like, my name is Masiago, okay? And then you're gonna be out here going Magsayo. David.
Yeah, so that's your boxing news for you guys right there.
Boxing.
All right, let's talk about something important. All right, good.
All right, yeah. All right, finally.
Wait. Listen, I spent good money of $0 on these transitions.
I was about to do the transition. I was about to do the transition. Transition.
There we go.
Ding, ding.
Let's transition for you. All right, gentlemen. I mean, there's only one place to start. Yesterday we had UFC 70.
Yeah.
And the Battle of France took place. The French Revolution. The French Civil War.
The French Revolution.
I don't know about you guys, but I was more excited about this fight. Maybe because we've had a general lack of MMA in the past few months, but like I was extremely excited about this fight.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah, like it was just such an interesting like stylistic matchup, between Francis and his knockout power versus Ciryl Gane, who might just be this podcast's favorite fighter. I think collectively, we've all been very, very high.
Remember when he was like 3-0, and I was like, if your name's not Stipe Miocic, you're not beating him. Like, and you guys were looking at me like I was crazy. I was like, no, listen to me. Like,
you were crazy, because a guy not Stipe Miocic did beat him. But no, but you're right. Like, we've all been really high on Ciryl. I think I was on that pod with you. Like, from the first time you watched him, it was like clear like this guy was going to be one of the top heavyweights in like the UFC.
You know what showed it for me was when him and Tanner Boser had that fight, and Tanner Boser came out and looked amazing, and Ciryl Gane just shut him down. Like, it was like, nope. And I was like, oh. I was like, because when you saw him, I saw him at TKO, and he was putting on some good guys there too. And I was like, okay, but is he really, like, when he gets to the level of the UFC, is he going to look this good? And then he did what he did to Tanner Boser. I was like, nope, shoot him to the moon. He's ready. Like, shoot him.
And what's really impressed me is, like, he's actually kind of, like, stepped it up as the competition has gotten harder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he has a finish over Derek Lewis, which a lot of guys can't say that they have. I mean, when was the last time Derek Lewis got finished?
Probably JDS. JDS was probably the last guy.
He's a finish over JDS. Like, I mean, once again, not like when has JDS been finished, but like as the competition gets harder, he gets better.
He steps up to the plate.
Yeah, you know, and even the criticisms of, oh, he's only a point fighter. He doesn't really have any power. You know, he's just getting better and better. But unfortunately, last night it was a step too far in terms of his development.
But I gotta say, who saw that coming? All right,
let me set it up, okay? As he faced prime Ngannou, I think we have to say, like, after that, from the, I'm trying to even think, just like from the first Stipe Miocic fight to the second Stipe Miocic fight, there's been a huge evolution in France. Man. And we saw the Rosenstrike fight and even the second Blades fight, but those were kind of aberrations. Even the JDS fight, like, those really didn't show us like how much like Ngannou has developed as an MMA fighter. But last night, I think he put the definitive stamp that no, I am the big dog here. I am the best heavyweight in MMA right now. And you know, Undisputed is a good title for it because like you can't really argue it. Maybe you could say, and we'll talk about this after we do a little bit of analysis, but maybe you could say like, yeah, I could see Derek Lewis maybe giving him some trouble. I personally don't see that, but Derek Lewis does have a win over him. But like, there's really nobody else who can even step to Francis right now. If he's being Gane like so handedly,
I wouldn't go handedly.
What do you think about the fight, Michael?
Okay, who would have saw that coming? First of all,
I did.
Did you? Did you?
Yeah,
really?
Remember when we were talking about it? I was like, okay, well, the more that I think about it, and I said it like hypothetically, but I was like, if Ngannou can show the wrestling that he showed against Miocic, like he could give Gane some problems. And if anything, I kind of overestimated Gane's ground game because he has a heel hook submission, but apparently Ngannou has more submission victories than Gane. But probably
he has a Kimura finish too.
Yeah, in the UFC too. So like, I don't know. And yesterday wasn't the most technical ground fight that I've ever watched, but I did see, coming into it, like Ngannou is just so strong.
I gotta say, his leaps and his jiu-jitsu has made leaps and bounds too. Like a lot of people said this idea. This is the one that pissed me off. 5th round, Ciryl Gane goes for the heel hook. Ciryl Gane only did that because he was about to get elevator sweeped by Francis Ngannou. And for Francis Ngannou, and he still got swept. But like Ciryl Gane only did it to counter the sweep because it was either get mounted or go for a submission mid-reap. You know what I'm saying? So this idea that like Ciryl Gane in top position just fell back to a heel hook is stupid, and it's disrespectful to Francis's development, in my opinion, because for Francis Ngannou to have the presence of mind to first grab the hand to take away the post of Ciryl Gane and then go for not a scissor sweep, an elevator sweep in that moment because he was in half guard is impressive. It's impressive. I'm sorry. All right. So the jiu-jitsu has made leaps and bounds. And I was shocked at it. And
I think the reason why he doesn't have to be as technical is because he's so strong, like David said, and he's so large that he can afford to do his movements slowly with the elevator sweep, with that little what did DC call it? The wizard kick. That was slow, very slow.
I like the wizard kick though. But sometimes slow is better. And I was trying to explain this to one of my students is that,
but it's because he's so large that because he's so strong that you can't really, counter him.
Yeah, you could take your time with it. Like sometimes some moves are better to take your time with because some moves are positions of leverage, right? There was a moment in the second, like there was the fourth round. Francis gets his hands clasped. Was it the fourth or the third? He gets his hands clasped together, bounces Ciryl Gane off the cage, and then like turns him inward to get that double leg takedown up against the fence. Beautiful. For like, let's not disrespect Francis and go like, he kind of just like laid on him. No. There was actual technical wrestling and jiu-jitsu aspects of his game. And there was also things I liked from Gane too. Like Gane had like a nice spin kick.
But here's the thing though, if you would have done it slow, like how Francis did it, you wouldn't have been as successful like Francis.
I disagree with Jeremy because I definitely think, from my very, 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 very limited ground experience or grappling experience, I think one of the biggest differences between guys who are experienced versus guys who are kind of new to this is that guys who are new kind of rush through their techniques. That's what impressed me the most with Ngannou. Like when he landed in side control off the slam, for example, the third round, he didn't immediately try to pass him out. It was like, no, let me catch my breath, threaten with the triangle, the arm triangle, not like he was going to do it, but like he just like slowly improved his position. I disagree with Michael. I do think that he could have definitely been more active once he was in either half guard or even once he had mounts a couple of times, back mounts as well. I do think like he could have, worked on his ground and pound a little bit more, especially with such heavy hands. But I also understand that I was going to say Gary Russell. That's not who we're talking about. Ciryl Gane did a great job kind of being active on the bottom,
That's my thing, right? It's like it's hard to throw ground and pound when Ciryl Gane is bucking and moving and genuinely doing the right things on the bottom. Like,
good wrist control as well. Like, a lot of the times he was grabbing one of Francis' arms. As he said, he was
threatening the Kimura,
threatening the Kimura off the takedown. Like he was doing a lot of decent stuff to like not frustrate, but like slow down the progression of techniques of Francis. But Francis's composure when in those positions, I think, was the biggest improvement that I saw, because even in the Kimura thing, it was kind of just like he just overpowered the guy and then immediately snapped in the Kimura.
See, this was another technical aspect I really liked was because I want to get to some of the good things Ciryl Gane did too, but one of the things I really liked with Francis Ngannou is the presence of mind, because Ciryl Gane's answer to defend the takedown, he should have been posting. He should have tried to get his hips away and post, but his answer was the Kimura, right? Because if Francis Ngannou goes and tries to go for a slam on that, like going straight up or going on that right side, then you open your hands up to that Kimura. So what does Francis do? He turns his body away from the Kimura and slams against his side control. So then goes for a trip takedown against his side control so that Ciryl Gane can't finish that Kimura. Presence of mind.
Even when Gane in the fifth round is going for that leg lock, Francis isn't just like standing there and waiting for him to get leg locked. What's he doing? He's pushing the leg away, making sure that his
cutting off the knee line. So
like, you know what I mean? Like he definitely has done this. He's definitely like trained in jiu-jitsu and been working on that part of his game. And as you said, he's been training his wrestling, because I don't think anybody other than I and other genius I don't think many people predicted that he would be going out and taking Gane down. We all assumed Gane was the better grappler of the two. And Ngannou kind of, and to use the rhetoric that he used before the fight, he kind of big broed him. You know, like
Yeah.
he's to your point, Jeremy, he was notably bigger, and he made him carry his weight, and his shots were not like random shots, like they were pretty much well timed. His sweeps, even like that leg sweep that he did, was well timed as well. The slammed was off, you know, off catching one of Gan's kicks that he was throwing through the middle, like all the fight, which and we will get to what Ciryl Gane did right because I think he did a lot of things right, and I really think like in that fifth round it was like 2-2. I mean, I don't know. I
No, it
kind
was
of
2-2. It was 2-2. I had
feel
Ciryl
like
Gane
that
winning the first two
first,
rounds.
like that first round was actually a little bit of a swing round. It could have gone either way, but he definitely won the second round. But after losing the round, shouts out to Francis for seeing that kick coming, catching. I mean, he misses the kick or he deflects the kick, catches it, keeps a hold of it, and then that slam was a thing of absolute beauty. I mean, I don't
I've
even
seen
know.
Muslim Salikov do a version of it where like someone goes for a head kick and he slides over to the left and then like throws like a uranagi. Like it's not really a uranagi, but it's kind of like the same where he kind of grabs the leg and throws him down. I thought that was pretty cool. So and Francis follows and goes into side control and another detail turns the legs to the side so that he can come over to mount and even still you're gonna hear that in the mic, sorry about that, but even still, you know what Ciryl Gane does? Hip escapes and bucks the other way to catch the leg, go into the mount to get into to create half guard. It was more like quarter guard, to be honest, but like yeah, like this I to see such level of ground game in heavyweight like on display in this chess match that happened, I thought was really really enthralling. And anyone who didn't like that fight, you're a casual, and we don't want your money. Like,
All right,
go away.
take it easy. I wouldn't
No,
use the word enthralling at all.
go
I would
away.
say it was interesting because we just didn't see this. We haven't seen like this side of the game from either fighters, honestly. But yeah, I do think there was a noted lack of action. Um, I think if you looked at the striking numbers, like it was pretty low for like the entire fight, especially compared to like some of the other fights from these guys, other than Ngannou knocking guys out in like 26 seconds or something like that. But yeah, no, even like third round Ngannou like pins up. I wouldn't say quite Khabib style, but like he kind of scoops the leg. Ciryl Gane's trying to escape, and he's just kind of like raining on him, like with Ciryl Gane's back to the game. I mean, when have we seen that? Like, we've never seen that. And this is a guy from Cameroon. This isn't a guy who's been doing like NCAA D1 like
Francis
wrestling.
Nurmagomedov, bro. Francis
You know,
Nurmagomedov. That's his new Francis Nurmagomedov. He goes,
hilarious.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I mean,
He's good.
hey,
He's gonna go
he's
on this, you know.
Muslim, so I wouldn't be surprised. But
I
no,
would.
man, no,
Go
I
ahead.
would just think like, yeah, no, it was really impressive. And as I said, that fifth round was kind of one of those rounds where like the winner of this round probably wins the fight. I agree with you. I do think people are pretty hard on Gan going for that uh, heel hook because
Because they
number
didn't understand. They didn't understand. That's
yeah,
what pissed me off the most. They didn't understand. They
done it
didn't
before.
get it.
So like I don't know. I get it. Like he lost the dominant position off a beautiful takedown, like a beautiful single leg, like textbook. But at the same time, like
He's getting swept. What do you want him to do? Do you want him to go into get mounted? Like what do you really want him to do? That's
against
my
the guy
problem.
who's been like mauling him the entire like
Yeah.
fight. Well, not entire
He has
fight,
the Hail
but,
Mary.
3 rounds. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
man. Like yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a good fight. Moving on to what Gan did.
No, but like I just sorry. I just want to say something. Like the commentary for this fight was ass.
what?
I'm
I
sorry.
think you were being
It was
harsh. I thought it was okay.
it's right for Daniel Cormier because that was the problem. Because Daniel Cormier said he went and fished for a heel hook, so now everyone's fishing this narrative that he fished for a heel hook rather than like saying what really happened, and it was a counter to a sweep, right? And Daniel Cormier should know better. I think he's a BJJ black belt. He should know better, and that was disgraceful. And I'm
Killing me, man. You're
no,
way
it was like
this right now.
and I say this knowing that Daniel Cormier is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I have a lot of respect for him. But they just didn't get a lot of things right. And I think this was like the big egregious example because it's disrespectful to Francis's game, missing some of these details. It's disrespectful to Ciryl Gane's game, missing some of these details.
But Michael, you're seeing that from the retrospect. I think in the moment, it looked like he sat back and went for the heel hook. And I thought it was a fair comment to say, oh, that's a big mistake. So, like, I don't know. It's one thing to say, like, with the benefit of hindsight and 1,000 replays.
I saw it once. I literally saw it one time and saw Francis Ngannou take the post hand away and go from it. What I will grant you is they're looking at it from an anti-view, like
and
across the other side of the cage.
Yeah, they might not have the TV like angles that we have as well. You know, I don't know. I feel
But
like
they also have the isolation monitor, though. They have the isolation monitor, so if they want to
like
see
commentators just get too much flack. Like it's become kind of the end thing to do in MMA podcasts nowadays, to just like rag on commentators. And I think it's a hard job. Number one, there's a reason why they get ex-pros and Joe Rogan to do it because it's not easy. And I don't know, when things are moving that fast, like it can be difficult to like properly call the techniques and then predict ahead of time what's like the fighter's going to do. So when they mess up from time to time, like it's okay. I don't think like that means that they did a terrible job. Like
I get it, and I'm the first person not to rag on. Like I think I gave him flowers like 3 weeks ago. Wasn't I the guy who said, you know, I thought the commentary was great 3 weeks ago or whatever, right? So like it's not like I understand when I, no, not 3 weeks ago. Like our last podcast with Pena and Pena versus like 2 podcasts ago. I gave them I gave them their flowers about it. So I'm not a guy who usually goes on here and says, you know, commentary was terrible. Like I'm not that guy. But I thought it's disrespectful because these guys put on for heavyweight to have such technical details that they did, like especially Gane on the feet, using some textbook Taekwondo moves, some good point blank karate moves there. I thought I thought it was absolutely disrespectful not to point those things out. Because then you have John Jones going on fucking Instagram, and he has to do this. Like, he has to go on Twitter and hype up himself, right? And he's denigrating the fighters. Everyone's like, oh, I agree with him because, yeah, he went for a heel hook when he shouldn't have to. It's like, no, he didn't. Don't be a fucking idiot. Like, of course, we can see this. I can see this. Like,
I thought they made a good point about Gane's style. This is MMA, and a lot of the moves he was doing weren't necessarily causing damage, but from a technical standpoint, like it was beautiful. Those first couple rounds, like he was, you know, Francis was going for the knockout. Let's be real. Like he didn't think of. I mean, let me not say he didn't think about grappling, but like it wasn't like the forefront of his game at that point. They said Francis was tired after 2 rounds. I don't know if I believe that, considering he then grappled for 3 rounds after that. So. I mean, goes to show, but you're right about that. But I don't know. I feel like Gane's game was very much similar to what we expected. In the first round, Francis was kind of walking Gane down and having pretty decent success. Like, when they got in close, when it was in the distance, it was all Gane. Gane's spinning body kicks. I mean, once front again, kick. Who is doing that? His front kick money.
There was a moment where Gane he fakes the outside. So he's been conditioning the lead leg outside leg kick, right? You know, and it doesn't hurt, but it's one of those annoying moves, and you're trying to catch it because you know it's scoring, right? So he gets Francis to bite on it one time, and then uses it to throw a side kick, the lead leg side kick, right? He did another move where he did it again with the rear leg too. He stepped through and threw a what's the word I'm looking for? Threw a rear leg side kick too, which was so that step through into the side kick is money for him, and I loved it because that's textbook Taekwondo 3 points. Like
even in the first round when like I think they're not necessarily in clinching, but they're kind of in close. Gane might have been ducking a shot, ripping to the body, and then a spinning back elbow. I mean, once again, who is doing this stuff at heavyweight? Nobody. that I can remember, like nobody.
Yeah.
That's like I can't even think of like a light heavyweight who's doing stuff like that. Maybe John Jones, and that's it. Like
Mhm.
he was so diverse with like the ways that he was attacking, and I really think like he confused Ngannou because like he was just, and that was his game plan. He was switching constantly, moving side to side, not just to avoid Ngannou's power, but also just to give him different looks, just to get him to reset, just so that he could catch him kind of in between moves. In the second round, he does this thing where he circles to the left, well, to his left, and Ngannou's right, I guess, um, backs up to the right, and then just like stops mid stance, and then just flicks out the jab, and he catches Ngannou clean,
Yeah.
and then he does the exact same movement, and this time circles all the way right. I mean, he's doing that because now Ngannou, every time he sees him like stop, or every time he sees him circling a certain way, stop and then move the other way, like he's thinking, okay, this guy's just circling. But then to have the presence of mind to like, it was weird. It was almost like to give him patterns, but in each pattern, like just switch it up so
Yeah.
that like you can't recognize the patterns. I mean, once again, so there's a reason why they call him cerebral surreal, right? Like,
Yeah.
just so high level with his movement. Jeremy, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think we got a fight that we weren't expecting. I just want to speak to the fight that we probably were expecting was Ciryl Gane to hit Francis Ngannou with a bunch of like combinations, and then uh Ngannou, I'm sorry, Gane to hit Ngannou with a bunch of combinations, and Ngannou to fire back like some big shots while Gane was exiting. And I think just the fact that both these men came in so like well prepared, it neutralized that entire game plan, and we got something completely different. And I think that's what people are missing, because a lot of the sentiment about this fight is that it was boring. I'm with you guys. I think it was very entertaining to watch the chess match between these two guys, and their technique was very skilled, and it was like just two gorillas, just like it was like watching. It was like
That's
watching.
kind of racist. No, I'm kidding.
I
I'm
felt
kidding.
racist. I don't know about you. I don't know.
It
I
was
feel
like
like that.
watching Thanos versus like the Hulk, but like, you know,
I'm
if the
glad you
Hulk,
said that. Not like watching a silverback against another silverback gorilla. No, but I get you.
yeah,
Well, I was actually going to disagree with you in terms of Gan landing a bunch of combos because I thought his game plan was perfect.
Yeah, poke,
Like
poke.
the poke, get Ngannou chasing him. Um, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch the fight to see what he did between like difference between the first round and the second round. I have a feeling it's what Francis's corner told him to do, like change the complexion of the fight. But as I said, in the first round, Francis was stalking him, and every time Gan would come in, like he's within striking range of Ngannou, and even though Gan's like head movement is underrated, like I feel like we always talk about like his kickboxing, his inside outside movement, his blitzing in this fight was also incredible. He has a very interesting sideways karate style for a Muay Thai fighter, which makes no sense, but I'm not here.
But that was the thing. When he was doing Muay Thai, it was knees and elbows, and all of a sudden he's coming out, and now he's
Like, what is going on, man? Anyway, like, are you kidding me? Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, no. So in the first round, Ngannou and was within range of like landing like a counter hook. I think like he landed a couple decent like uppercuts, um, but Gan would move his head just like slightly out of the way, or he would just like be quick enough to actually exit before he gets struck. But yeah, I mean, and that's another thing that stood out to me. I feel like Gan is so much quicker than Ngannou, like so much.
oh my god, it wasn't even close.
Like it
Wasn't
wasn't close. Like Ngannou looked.
I mean,
lazy.
how much of that was the MCL tear, though?
Maybe.
Right? You know,
There were moments where watching the fight where I'm just like, imagine Ngannou just does a Rosen strike and he just like lunges at this dude. Like, is he gonna be able to get get out of the way? Because yeah, I feel like that part was definitely missing from Ngannou's game. But at the same time, Like I get why Gane wouldn't want to go in and throw long, extended like combos because number one, unlike a Derek Lewis, um, even a Rosenstrike, um, maybe even I have to rewatch the fight, but what's that guy's name? The tall
Change.
guy.
Oh, Volkov.
Yeah, Volkov. I mean, Ngannou's not gonna like cover up while you're striking him.
He's
Like,
he's firing back, and you guys
yeah,
are going to get
exactly.
into
He'll
a
take one on the chin and just try to catch you. And he got hit with like a couple decent shots. I remember a 1-2 from Gane, which was like as clean as we've seen Ngannou hit in a
Yeah,
very
no,
long
you're
time.
right. Gon's game plan was very good. I just thought that eventually he would try to back
Yeah,
and
open up a
Ngannou
little.
up, but that's very hard to do. So
Yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. There was this once again, Michael, I know you'll appreciate a spinning heel. Are you kidding me?
I
Like, are you kidding me, man?
Now I will say, I think part of it was also that Francis defended it okay by like kind of turning over. Like Francis at the last second, like walked himself over to
Yeah.
Gane's rear side, um, lead side. I meant lead side when he was in southpaw. But what he do? He stepped through with the rear leg, faking a kick, and came over the top with a spin kick. Ah, who does that heavyweight?
Like, after he's been threatening the body kick the entire, like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's the
Come
thing.
on,
It's like,
man.
oh, here's the body kick. Here's me feinting the body kick with the twitch feint. Oh, I'm now going to step through. You're going to defend the body kick, and he throws the spin kick, and then Ngannou has the presence of mind to step, like to literally take a half step to Ciryl Gane's lead leg side, right? To make the arc of power lose a bit, and as a result, it just bounces off the shoulder as it's going to the head. But these are the things. But these are the things that, you know what? When I say the commentary was asked, this is what I'm talking about, right? Because these are the things that these guys can point out. They just actively choose not to point out.
To be fair, they did point out the wheel kick. To be fair, but I mean, once again, they even
Well,
said,
but did they talk about with the kind of detail that we talked about
no,
right now?
no.
Okay.
But it's tough in the moment. But yo, I just want to just give props from Gan. Like he was like really upset after that fight, but I really think he should hang his head like high because I think with a little bit more grappling training, that he could have very realistically won that fight. And he was in control for definitely the second round. First round, as I said, was a little bit of a swing round, in my opinion. Anyway, I know a lot of people saw it as 2-0, but I don't know if I would go. I don't know. It was really close.
I had a 2-0 just because Gon did land like more in the first. Like he definitely landed more and was definitely like a lot more of a rangier fighter, looked a lot more, had the more cleaner shots, in my opinion.
Fair.
But
fair.
even still, like let's say it is 2-0 and for Francis Ngannou with an MCL tear and all the pressure in the world of the contract situation, facing his former coach, to gut it out and do something we've never seen from him before, which is basically turn into Francis Nurmagomedov, alhamdulillah, 16-3, undisputed.
Francis was wait, let me get this straight. Francis MCL was busted. His ACL was busted for that fight. Wearing the double knee sleeves, a la I think somebody said Mark Coleman, which is hilarious. And first time he gets clinched up by Ciryl Gane, who might be the best clinch fighter in the heavyweight division. I'd have to think about that a little bit, but like I can't really think of anybody who's better. Maybe Overeem, maybe. Back in the day, like I don't know if Overeem would do that now, but he might be the best clinch fighter. Leans, like gets the overhook, leans on Gane, pushes his head to the side, and starts throwing knees. Are you kidding me? Like
gutsy. And
Bro,
you know
like-
what? I have it from Smiling Sam. Smiling Sam said, yeah, no, he was hurt because they were working on him at the PI, right? And 3 weeks ago, and they didn't know what was going on. Like Smiling Sam was just there chilling, and he didn't. Well, not chilling, but obviously training, and he didn't know what was going on because they were working on Francis in the back.
Man, snitching. What's going on?
No, but like, no. He said it's common knowledge, but like, yes, I did talk to him after. But it's it's common knowledge. He said it. Like he was like, yeah, he told
It
everyone.
sounded like you were giving up your source for a second there.
No,
real,
okay, no. It's common knowledge.
Oh no, I know this guy, and he said, this guy's the mole in the camp. He said this. Like, take it easy, man.
Smiling Sam Alvey, by the way, guys. I'm talking about Smiling Sam Alvey. But like Alvey,
to name him even clearer, just in case you guys weren't clear.
They didn't know it's this guy. No, but Alvey said after the fight,
his SIN number is.
Oh man. But yeah, no, sorry. As I was saying, yeah, no, he was saying like he was at the training at the PI, and when he was training at the PI, Francis was like getting work done on his knee. Like they were working on his knee. And he didn't know what was going on. But after the MCL tear, after he said he tore his MCL completely, and he also had issues with his ACL, he was like, yeah, it makes sense, right? Because it's true. So like people are gonna say, oh, it's not true. He's just saying that. No, I have it on good authority. Yeah, no, it was as legit of an MCL tear as possible.
A couple more things before we start moving on to talk about what might be after this for Francis. One thing that we saw Francis do that, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, I've never seen him do, is go for the oblique kick. I've never seen Francis do that. That's usually.
It was an ugly ass oblique kick, though. It was an ugly ass oblique kick.
It was ugly. It was ugly. And sometimes it was kind of slow and labored. But I've never seen Francis do that. Once again, development, evolution. And number two, I thought Ciryl Gane was smart in the second round to start going for the leg kicks a little bit more. I feel like that made Francis a lot more hesitant. But credit to Francis, man. He was checking a lot of those.
Like, thank you for bringing this up, because me and Jimmy were talking about that too.
Yeah, no, man. I mean, you would think like, oh yeah, of course, Cyryl's gonna go for the leg kicks, and Francis, is gonna try to charge him down. But before the fight, a lot of people were talking about this being brains versus bronze, and don't get me wrong, Ciryl Gane is by far the most cerebral, most. I don't like intelligent because I don't feel like that doesn't do. But he has probably the highest.
I get what you're saying. He's got
like in the heavyweight division. But Francis, like his overall fighting IQ is right up there, man. Because he's doing all the right things, a little bit. Maybe he doesn't block a punch.
He does the right things. He does beautiful things ugly. That's yeah.
Yeah, but he knows the game, right? Like he's checking the leg kicks. He's sprawling on takedowns. The first one in the first round. In the clinch, he's creating space. Like, I mean, he's doing all the right things in these different areas. That, like, man, I just thought it was a good exhibition of both fighters' skills. I don't think any of them should lose stock on this fight. I would love to see a rematch between a healthy Francis and a healthy, although I don't think Gane had any problems. Although what I would say is in that, was it the slam? No, it was the
wizard kick where he bounced off his head. He wasn't
yeah. Just looking at that, my shoulder hurts. Like I feel like he must have done something on that.
The bouncing of the head, because you could tell there was a bit of a concussion there because he wasn't.
And Gane's a big boy, man. Nganou's a big boy,
257. Oh wait, no, God knows he definitely it was a cut of 257, so he's probably at 270 at that point, being thrown onto your head. It's a different feeling.
Yeah, great fight. Any last thoughts?
Well, can we get into this Dana White thing, because I thought it was
that's what I wanted to talk about. Dana White doesn't come
shameful.
out. You talk about it.
Disgrace. It was Bush League. I'm sorry. I've only remember one other time where Dana White did this to my memory, that burned into my memory, and it was the Anderson Silva, Damian Maia Abu Dhabi fight. Remember where
you say Tyron Woodley?
Because even the Tyron Woodley one, he came out. See, even the Tyron Woodley one, when Tyron Woodley beat Darren Till, he at least had the decency to come out, as mad as he was, and put the belt on Tyron Woodley. For him not to put, look, I'm not going to sit here and be on this side of oh, well, Dana White, is a bad guy for negotiating in bad faith with Francis Ngannou. No, it's contract negotiations. Sometimes even when you're doing with sports teams like the NBA where the revenue split is a lot higher and the money's a lot better. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I get what you mean. It is contract negotiations. Sometimes they get heated, but for what it's worth, number one, before the fight, Dana White says that he actually didn't really have much of a problem with Francis Ngannou. Personally, it was more like his team was representing him. And then number two, I watched the pre-fight presser. There was no heat between them. Like they were kind of like professional, collegiate. Like I thought it was like
cordial. Yeah, they were
cordial. Yeah, maybe not collegiate, but cordial. Like when guys were asking Ngannou weird ass questions, or even when pardon?
No, like Ngannou was the first guy not to disrespect Dana White. Like guys were trying to get him to go there, and he didn't take the bait. Like, so
I don't think the press pushed him hard enough. Personally, I thought they kind of softballed a lot of those questions.
That's fair. That's fair. Like, but there were a couple questions that were going there. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. They were going there, and like any person with lesser media training, not even lesser. Like, I would have probably went there. I'll be honest. Like, I would have been like, yo, this nigga don't pay me enough. Like,
Let's get up to Ngannou, man. He's actually, I don't want to say surprisingly, but he's actually kind of an intelligent guy. Like, for real.
Classy dude. Classy,
intelligent, respectful, professional guy.
The trash talk was classy when he goes to Ciryl Gane, I respect you, brother, but I knocked you down. And Ciryl Gane's like, you don't respect me, bro. And then after like when they face off in French, he goes, I do respect you.
He's like, forget what you think. Man, no, I loved the.
Wait, Ciryl Gane said, I do respect you when they faced off in French.
No. So Francis Ngannou was like, I respect you, Ciryl, and Cyryl's like, you don't respect me, bro. You're telling people
that was when they faced off.
And then no, like not when they faced off, when they had the press conference. Like they had the press conference.
And I got that, yeah.
Yeah, and then when they faced off at the end of the press conference, he goes in French. Ngannou goes,
"Who's he?
I respect you, bro."
Ngannou, okay.
Yeah. Ngannou goes, "I respect you, bro." So,
but anyway, moving back to Dana White because we gotta move on and talk about some of the other things. But at this point, first of all, some people were saying that maybe he was sick or something. Fair enough, but wasn't he there earlier in the night?
He was there for literally every other fight. So I don't understand.
I don't know. It just sounds like sour grapes. I can't remember him missing a presser ever, especially for the first pay-per-view of the year. Like that's just weird.
They'll come up with something. Like I'm for sure they'll say Dana White was sick, and maybe he was. Maybe he he had some food poisoning and had to leave.
Maybe they'll say so. He got called for a personal emergency or something like that. I bet.
Yeah, they'll say something, and okay, maybe he's wrong, maybe he's right. We can't call him on that. Like what I'm saying, we can't say anything on that one. But from what we know now, he left the arena conspicuously after it's been known for weeks, if not months, that he's had contract negotiations with Francis Ngannou. And basically lost the contract negotiation on that night. That's what happened.
And that just adds to, once again, like the story of this fight. To come in, this being your supposed last fight in the UFC, you're the champ. They've literally built this guy from your gym so that he can take your title from you, and then you gut out those 3 last rounds. I mean, once again, that's just like the storybook stuff, Yeah. If this was a movie, you'd be like, man, this is a little bit too unrealistic. But shouts out to Ngannou, man. He really
I just think that Dana White's a shameful person. That was shameful. When Dana White decides to retire and whatever, if there's a MMA Hall of Fame, he would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Dana White's influence on the sport. Of course he'd be
a first ballot Hall of Famer. He decides who goes into the Hall of Fame. Of course he's going to put himself up.
Well, I'm saying if they made an MMA Hall of Fame and not a UFC Hall of Fame. But my point being is that his impact on the sport is so big that I can make the argument that his impact also impacted all combat sports in general. Right?
Agreed.
It's what I'm saying? It's that great, and he's done a lot for the sport. But I thought in that moment, he was a coward.
Yeah, he let himself down, and I feel like he let the esteem of the heavyweight title down, in my opinion. I'm not, usually I don't buy into if you're the heavyweight champion, the baddest man all that kind of stuff. But they're the ones who are promoting it like that. So for him not to show up for, fair enough, the title. Like, you're mad the guy lost, but the presser, like, come on, Dana, this is your element. You love the presser. You love the presser. So yeah, I don't know. It's just not a high point for the UFC, not a high point for Dana. High point for Francis. Um, where does he go from here? We know that, I don't know. I don't even know what to believe anymore. I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know the details of Francis's contract. But from what I hear, this was his last fight. I don't know if the championship clause of an extra fight like comes into play. Francis says that he doesn't have a championship clause because he didn't sign his contract as a champion. So this is it. Some people are saying like he does have a championship clause, and he's gonna have to wait a year before he can get released. I don't know what to believe. I don't know if there's negotiations still taking place. But what I do know for sure is that Francis is not going to be fighting for $600,000. And that's another thing, Jeremy. I think I heard somewhere that Gary Russell Jr. might have earned like somewhere above 2 million. Let's say above 2 million. The entire card yesterday earned 1.6, 1.8 million dollars.
Really? Like even Figueiredo versus Moreno?
Figueiredo earned 150K. Moreno got 200K.
Oh, Jesus.
Flat fee. So you know how, usually it's 10 and 10, 12 and 12, 50 and 50. They didn't do any of that. It was just flat fee. Francis 600, Gane 500.
Gary Russell got more to lose than the entire UFC card. Wow.
It's crazy. Well, once again, like, I love Ciryl Gane. We love Ciryl Gane here on the Leg Kick. He has 11 fights. What, 6 fights in the UFC? They've been doing knockout compilations for Ngannou. And you're saying that Ciryl Gane is earning 100K less than Francis Ngannou? Like, that doesn't even make sense.
And this is the thing, like, as much of a nice guy as Ciryl Gane was, this was a huge step forward for fighter pay for Ngannou to win. It was a huge step forward because this is ridiculous. This is there no heavyweight champion, right? Even when Stipe was champion, there no heavyweight champion should be making only 500K to show, right? Like not even 500 and 500. Like it was 500 flat. Like
flat.
Come on.
Like what even happened to show money? Like whatever happened to
show and win money? Like what happened?
Yeah, exactly. Show and win money. Like whatever. It's now just flat fees that you're gonna earn. The guy who Michel Pereira fought apparently made 30K. Like, okay, like there needs to be like government intervention at this point.
Yeah, someone needs to step in. This is
like,
ridiculous.
This is getting ridiculous because minimum, they've just raised the PPV numbers. Although we can argue how much that really affects anything, with all due respect. I don't think I know anybody who pays for it.
Hey,
other than the people on this podcast, because we respect.
Hey. I use a very legal paid for stream. Thank you very much.
Yeah. You know what happened? I bought 2 PPVs and then watched it on ESPN. That's what I did here in the UK. Anyway, and then what was I saying? Mm-hmm. Okay, they just raised the PPV numbers, and then you take into consideration like the gate fee. Like the gate fee alone would be like what, 2 million? Like those tickets aren't cheap. So I really don't understand like why like there's even like an other side to this debate about whether fighters deserve to get paid more. The question is how much. But it's just crazy for me. And
I'm not saying it should be a 50-50 split, and I'm not saying like
should be a 50-50 split, but go on.
No, because the problem is like a lot of people think they're in the NBA realm. They're not there yet. So like they still need to reinvest in the company. But I definitely think a 35 or 40% split, like 40% for the fighters is reasonable. Like I don't, what I'm saying? Like I'm not here saying 50-50, but 60-40 would be nice. Like 65-35 would be nice. Like I'm so.
Yeah, I hear you. one last shout out. Shout out to Kamaru Usman, man. That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, just breeding champions. Shout out to Kamaru Usman, man. That's good.
Hey, he's there every step of the way, and he didn't have to be there. He didn't have
Yeah,
to
he
be
didn't
there.
have to be there. He didn't have to do any of that. But yeah, I heard him like through, like after the fight, in between the rounds, like giving Francis pretty solid advice. So once again, just goes to show Nigerian brethren, African brethren, we stick
And you
together.
know what? In fairness, too, like Ngannou was there for the Colby fight too, if I remember correctly. So like they're there for each other. So bless their hearts, right? So.
All right, let's talk about this co-main. I have considerably less to say about this one. Brandon Moreno versus Figueiredo. Deiveson and Figueiredo. Go on.
I gotta say, okay, you're gonna set it up, so I'll let you set it up, and I'll say what I have to say because this is interesting.
So Deiveson Figueiredo beats Brandon Moreno, sorry, by I think it was a unanimous decision, right? And regains. Oh my God! Why is the flyweight? The flyweight championship. I promise I'm not a casual. I promise I am a casual. Actually, regains the flyweight championship. At this point, we're 1-1-1. So 1 win for Deiveson, 1 win for Moreno, and 1 draw.
The Pacquiao Marquez special, basically.
What are your thoughts on this fight?
I don't know, Jeremy. You have anything to say? You want to?
Only thing I had to say was I thought it was a good fight. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I thought it was super close too. That too. I've only seen it once, so I can't really talk about anything like too specific that I've seen. But I think it was a good decision. I don't have a problem with the decision.
Me too. But okay, see, I think this fight, and I was saying this to a couple friends on IG, like right after, is that this fight is an interesting test of how the 10-point must system and the unified rules of MMA work, and if it really truly is the best way to judge fights, and if there is something better. Because
don't do it.
No, because if you go by the 10-point must system, I'll give you an example. When Andy Ruiz fought Chris Arreola, right? What is it now? Like a year, 2 years ago? And Andy Ruiz was definitely outlanding, had better volume, did everything. You know what I'm saying? But Chris Arreola landed a knockdown and every time he threw an overhand right would sting Andy Ruiz. Right? So as a result, Andy Ruiz had to fight from behind, and he eventually won the fight.
Ago, by the way.
Sorry?
It wasn't that long ago. It was
like a year ago. Yeah, it was a year ago, right? But the point I'm trying to make is Andy Ruiz had to fight from behind because of the knockdown early, and because he was getting stung with that overhand right that he had to figure out the timing for, right? But it was really only one shot at a time that Chris Arreola was landing. Meanwhile, Andy Ruiz is landing 3-4 punch combinations. So it's one of those weird, how do you judge a fight under the 10-point must system? Because if you're Deiveson Figueiredo, you're getting outlanded 2-1, right? You are getting stung a bit, but you also have the knockdown in the third and the fifth. So right away, you've won the round, and you can make an argument that it should be a 10-8. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Look at it. But you get what I'm trying to say, though, because if you're sorry, what?
No, nothing. I'm just trying to.
You're over there dying. Yeah, you're over there dying.
Death groans over here. Go on.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna have to call British 911. But but yeah,
I hear you.
You know what I'm trying to say? It's because in my mind,
the 10-8. I wouldn't call any of those rounds a 10-8.
No, me either. But my point is that even though Moreno did everything to warrant winning the round, he still gets knocked down in the third and the fifth. And the first round, you can make an argument Moreno won it, but it's not a good argument. So now all of a sudden, Deiveson Figueiredo won the first, third, and fifth, basically on 3 punches. you know,
you.
And but it sounds weird. It sounds weird, does it not?
I get what you're saying, but first of all, he didn't lose the first. Deiveson Figueiredo didn't win the first one on a knockdown. He won it by being the better fighter and landing many calf kicks. So
yeah,
that's my first rebuttal. Second of all, you can say don't get knocked down. I mean, easy to say, obviously, but yeah, I know. I think that's the point.
Yeah, just stand up, bro.
Yeah, just stand up, bro. Why are you grappling, man? Why are you doing all this wrestling shit? No, I hear what you're saying. I just can't think of a better system. Maybe because my brain's not smart enough. I've heard of an 11-point system where it's like, I don't know, 5 points for control, 3 points for grappling, 3 points for striking, something like that. And everything that I've heard just seems contrived. And you don't want a case of, with all due respect, as much as, I'm the one championship correspondent, you don't want a one situation where they say they judge the fight holistically, and that's really just a justification for them to just put out some of the weirdest decisions I've ever seen in my life.
It justifies robbing people, but at the same time, to the judges' credits, though, for example, when Christian Lee lost to that gentleman, I can't remember his name, that Filipino gentleman, all indications should say you should give that to Christian Lee because that's your golden boy. So it's not like one championship is out here screwing guys left, right, and center. But I do get what you're saying. There is no quantitative tangibility of, and accountability of making decisions in one championship like there is in.
Yeah, I just think any kind of vagueness, here's a big word, obfuscates, kind of makes it harder to know what wins fights nowadays.
Yeah.
I think with the 10-point must system, it's still pretty subjective, still kind of vague, but at the same point, there's some pretty well-established rules. If you get a knockdown,
it's really clear.
Chances are you're winning the round,
Yeah.
I think that's knowing
unless there's some version of a standing 8 where you're up against the fence getting lit up. Yeah, no, it's
exactly right. So I don't know. I don't have necessarily a problem with. I didn't have a problem with the judging in this fight. I didn't have a problem with
No, I agree with you. They judged according to the rule book. It's not like they, what I'm saying. I think, although I will say there was one judge who gave the 4th round to Figueiredo, which is disgraceful. But
I agree with Jeremy. I thought it was a pretty close fight.
Yeah.
What's really stuck out to me is that Deiveson Figueiredo for a long time was being marketed as man, who can stand and bang with this dude? His striking, he has the crazy knockout power, blah blah blah, and he got clipped a few times by Moreno, and it he looked wobbly, but at the same time he got the knockdowns, right? So, I don't know. What really stuck out to me was I just think these two are just so well matched. Figueiredo likes. Would I call it counterpunching? I wouldn't even go that far. I would just say
he likes to explode into things.
Definitely, and he loves a solitary punch, as opposed to Moreno, who's definitely more likely to hit you with combos. Moreno kept doing this weird arm thing, where he would shuffle to the side. I don't know if that's a boxing thing, but I hated it. I don't know why. It just
it's supposed to throw off his timing. Nate Diaz used to do this thing back in the day. And what it would do is it would fuck up your ability to time the punches, because a lot of guys look at the fist. They're not looking at the chest and the arms. And I know why, because it's hard to really judge when a punch is going to come over if a guy keeps shoulder feinting you. So you have to make a decision on what you're going to look at. So if a guy's doing this or doing this, it messes up your ability to counter and to time punching combinations.
I felt it was a little bit of a waste of energy, in my opinion. But I don't know. He probably has his good. Yeah, you're right. It would mess me up thinking about it. It would definitely mess me up. So there's probably a reason why he does it. And to be fair, Figueiredo does do the weird hand in the air, waving at you, kind of feints too, or movement while he's not really doing anything.
I mean, in a weird version, you guys have seen me do it. I employ the long guard, from Southpaw, and I'll twitch my hand every once in a while. right? And
Maybe
yeah, like I'll do. Jeremy knows, like I'll do it, but I'm not really doing anything. I'm just kind of like figuring out like your reactions, right? So it's a thing. Everyone has their thing, right? Everyone has their thing to sell, and I don't have a problem with it. And
fair enough. Didn't love it still, but what I would say is Figueiredo calf kicks, leg kicks. Those were kind of like the story of the game for him. Like I really feel like he was knocking Buddy down at certain points with his leg kicks. I mean, here at the leg kick, we love a well-placed leg kick, and you can't really get better than that. Like when a guy is not just reacting from your leg kick, but is literally losing balance and falling.
A man after my own heart.
You know. And I thought Figueiredo's overhand right was money, like multiple times in the fight. That being said, and credit to Jack Slack, who I definitely stole this idea from before I watched the fight. That left hook, man, from Moreno was catching Figueiredo time and time and time again.
He called it, eh? Like I like Jack Slack. He called it because he was like, yeah, that left hook's gonna work. I was like, oh, okay.
And it was, yeah, and he kept getting clipped. There was even one where he like kicks Moreno's leg down, and as he's falling, he still manages to like, it wasn't a left hook, it was more like an overhand right. He still manages to clock Figueiredo, and Figueiredo, kind of like circled and like, laughed and acknowledged that that was a good one. So I don't know. Like I just feel like these two guys are so evenly matched. I'm gonna be honest. Don't know if I'm the most excited to see a fourth one. I'm going to be honest. But it's kind of unfair.
I would like to see some new blood in there before a fourth one goes. Like,
but if Figueiredo got an immediate rematch,
then Moreno should probably get one too.
Yeah, that's just my thinking. And Moreno's has to be up there with like one of the most liked guys in the UFC right now. Like the crowd was popping every single time.
Like, I mean, he got the California bump though. Like that's also, the thing.
I forgot to say this. The Ngannou crowd, like the California crowd, should be ashamed of itself for like booing that Ngannou fight, because I know we've moved on, but like shame on them. But for this fight, they were like screaming every time like Moreno would turn.
Well, he got the California bump though. Like it's like if you're Mexican and you go to California, it's over. Fair. Like California or New York, forget about it. Like
California is low Mexico.
Yeah, or New York, either one of the two. If you're Mexican and you go to any, not even Mexico.
I feel like Mexico is more so for South. I'm sorry. What I said? I feel like New York is more so for South Americans and some of the Central American, Caribbean speaking Latins.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. You know what? You're right, because Puerto Rico and
I feel like Mexico is more concretely. I feel like California is more concretely Mexican.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Moreno's from Tijuana, which I don't know much about Mexico, but I know that that's definitely one of those.
Don't fuck with places, yeah.
Yeah, places that, and no, I was not going to say that, but also like that's a place where like a lot of Americans like to visit, especially those in California. So yeah, it makes sense that he got the pop, but it was kind of like taking the piss a little bit because I don't know. I felt like it was a really even fight, and I don't know if I'm that interested in the fourth. I know that I might have a bias against flyweights, no disrespect, but like I wasn't too enthralled with the fight personally.
I like the idea of letting some fresh blood go in there and then doing a fourth one if they can prove it, like having a prove it fight for each of them.
Fair enough. Any other thoughts on that fight before we quickly look at the rest of the card?
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the fight. I do think it is a referendum on the unified rules and the 10-point must system. And like we have to come up with some sort of idea of if we're going to keep it or if we're going to adjust it, and how are we going to adjust it? Because there's a lot of people who are saying Brandon Moreno won that fight, and I can see why. But there's a lot of people who understand what the 10-point must system is and know that if you get a knockdown, it's 10-9. Sorry, so I that's my only thing about it, is that like I see both sides of this argument. I'm personally on the, you have to follow the rules that are given in front of you. I'm sorry, but I do also think that the rules can be adjusted a little bit to give a true indication of who wins the fight. Like, so that's my only thing. That's where I want to end up.
Referendum is a strong word. I wouldn't call it a referendum, but
Fine.
I wanted to point out, for referendum, really? Like, this fight is a referendum?
It's an example of it, I guess. Yeah.
Example.
Even Joanna versus Wei Li, I think, is a bigger example of what I was trying to explain.
That is more of a
yeah, because a bigger example of why I try to explain here is that, like, okay, never mind. We'll talk about it later. Like,
we can talk about it, another time. I liked Moreno's boxing. I wanted to add that.
Yes.
And both guys' wrestling looked okay, in my opinion. Figueiredo shocked me. I know he was in camp with Henry Cejudo, who seems to just be like breeding like
comebacks,
like non-grapplers into grapplers, which is hilarious, and a good role that fits him. Okay, so moving on to Michel Pereira versus, I think his name's Andre Fialho. Fialho? Yeah, however you say that. Sorry, Andre. Decent fight.
He was a plus 300 underdog. It doesn't matter. It's okay.
Hilarious.
I'm kidding. He'll kick my ass.
I thought, another case where the commentators kind of got it spot on. Fialho, very much a boxer. Pereira, way more diverse. I feel like if Pereira was a heavyweight, he would be a much more interesting fighter. Or even like a light heavyweight, he would be a much more interesting fighter. But because he's a welterweight, we kind of expect him to be doing some of the weird stuff that he does. Leans on that, like, back up to the cage, then jump up the cage and try to land the Superman punch a little too much. It becomes a little, like, easy.
It's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But when he kept it, ironically, kind of meat and potatoes, like, boxing, like, he was having the better of him. His front kicks were good. The range of his kicks was good. He ironically shot for the takedown way more than I think I've ever seen him shoot for the takedown, and was having a little bit of success there. So yeah, I thought it was a decent fight. Nothing too spectacular, but Michel Pereira.
Remember when I came on the show and I was like, Pereira's an idiot because he doesn't realize how good he is, and I think he could be like contender potential, and like people laughed me out of the room. Like,
I mean, you're wrong.
No, like,
he's nowhere near contender.
He beat Nico Price. He beat Nico Price. So
imagine this guy against Kamaru Usman. Like, come on, man.
No, of course he's not there yet, but I think there is something to be said that he's only 28. He's a big welterweight. He has the athleticism, and he clearly has a rounded skill set. We don't know what it's going to look like against like a pure striker, like let's say I wouldn't even want to throw Leon Edwards, but like let's say how he would do against a Jeff Neal, right? We don't know how he'd do against a Jeff Neal, but we also don't know what he would do against a pure grappler, like let's say, well, not pure grappler, but let's say a guy with more of a grappling skill set like a Neil Magny. But the idea is that he has these tools and these skills that you're like, hold on a second here. This isn't just a meme fighter. This guy can do something. And I think this is an example of when he does keep it, when he backs off from the unpredictability just a hair, but is still unpredictable enough and is keeping it fundamental when he has to, he can be very, very interesting in this division.
I think Leon Edwards would absolutely clean his clock. And I also think a guy like Bilal Muhammad would give this guy absolute nightmares. But I hear what you're saying. I completely agree.
No, that's why I said I didn't want to say Leon Edwards, because I know the truth. But like,
come on, man. Thoroughly faking. That guy was like Michel Pereira is like not even like faking a lot of his shots. He's really just trying to confuse guys with like the variety of shots. I hated this. Not hated. Strong word. No, hated. I hated his like fight. His plan for this fight, like the circling, like the backing up. I know like Fialho was putting a lot of pressure on him, but like I thought it was a terrible plan because it kind of just made Fialho look way more dominant than perhaps like the statistics would show, especially in that first round. Second round was definitely an Andre Fialho round, but that first round, like, I don't know, some people were saying like Fialho won. I wouldn't go that far.
But Fialho did a lot of things to stymie Pereira for sure. Like, and that's the thing, right? Like, you have to keep in mind, you got to thank Pereira's probably got to thank his lucky stars that wasn't Muslim Salikov. Was it Salikov he was supposed to be facing, or Mustafayev? It was going to be Mustafayev that he was facing, and not a tired Fialho, because Fialho took the fight on short notice, and it showed because he gassed out.
Third round especially.
Yeah, he gassed out, and so because of that, he wasn't necessarily fighting at his best. And in that first round when he was fresh, I wouldn't say he won the round, but he was stymieing Pereira. So it goes to show you what happens. What would have happened if it was Mustafayev who he fought, right?
For unpopular opinion, I actually like the meme fighter version of Michel Pereira. At least that was way more entertaining than what we're watching right now. No disrespect, but
it was a good fight, man. It was
a decent fight. It was a decent fight.
What's your problem? It was a good fight.
Okay. Any thoughts on that before we move on?
No. Let's try hurry it up. We're an hour 40.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, that's what Francis Ngannou does to us. Saeed Nurmagomedov, living up to his surname, submitting Cody Stamen.
You know what's ironic though? You know what's ironic? No relation.
No way.
No relation. You know what? I once thought they were cousins because it was reported that they were cousins, but apparently that's not true.
That's like That's funny. I literally thought he was like Khabib's younger brother or something. That's
no. Cousins. Anyway. Not even cousins.
That's crazy. I guess it's just a common name like Smith. I think Cody Stamen's a good fighter, but he got caught here. You see, that like has totally thrown my analysis for a loop, because I thought, why would you try and shoot on the Nurmagomedov, which is what Stamen did, and then he got caught in like one of the slickest guillotine.
High elbow, and you're like thinking, oh, Nurmagomedov would definitely do that. It's
course,
no relation.
That's crazy. That's really
Nurmagomedov is more of a striker. He's a Sanshao striker. He's more of a Sanda striker, to be honest with you.
And I was also like, man, this guy's striking for Nurmagomedov looks legit. Like, this guy's back up like fists, throwing like spinning wheel kicks. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah, no, I thought they were cousins. I did think they were cousins, but like I went and looked it up because like I think it was MMA Fighting or MMA Junkie who reported they were cousins, him and Khabib. But then Khabib came on and was like, no, we're not cousins. And like, we're not even related. So
I don't know that guy. I don't know like that. Yeah, super slick submission, decent striking, or like fairly explosive striking. I mean, it's 47 seconds. There's not really much of an analysis there. I thought Stamen didn't really do anything wrong. He kind of shot for the takedown, got his neck like clamped and won. Like, usually when you go for the single leg, I mean, your neck, especially if
you're safe from that guillotine.
Yeah, you're like.
But it goes to show you there's a high elbow though that people got worried about, because a lot of people like, and so he goes high elbow and then goes into a figure four grip, I would say. Yeah, it was like a figure four grip on that guillotine, and what that does is it closes up the circle high. So not only is both of your carotid arteries getting closed up, you're also feeling the pressure on your throat.
And his hands hidden. No way you can try and fight it. Like, but yeah, they made a good point in the commentary. By the time like they hit the ground, it's a tap. Like, there's no two ways about it. And he also controls the leg too. Like, once he rolls over, meaning like you can't even like change the position and try and buy yourself some time. Maybe sneak an arm in there. Like, nothing. Like, it was beautiful, man. It was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. No, it was a really well done submission, right? But it really does throw it to bed as like I was like, why would you shoot on Nurmagomedov? Well,
yeah, no. Michael Morales knocks out Trevin Giles. This one, the commentary is really high on Giles. I can see why, but
I like Giles too. Like, he was doing everything right until
I clocked. I mean, he stuns Morales like early in the round, and then immediately shoots for a clinch. Which, looking back, I'm sure he's gonna sure he's gonna regret that because maybe he didn't realize he had knocked him or stunned him. I think like if he had followed up with a few shots to the body and then like create some separation and like made him work, then totally different. But he kind of gave Morales a little bit of time to recover. And by the time they were like separated, Morales kind of, I wouldn't say it was a lucky punch, but he catches him and
Give him a bit of an out. Give him a bit of an out there.
Yeah. Is there any other fights you wanted to talk about, Michael?
The Canadian Jasmine Jasdovic,
I knew it.
A lot of
people
like her. A lot of people
highly rated.
Yeah, a lot of people like her. What's it called? She was a 2-1 underdog, I think, in this fight anyway. Like, she was a plus 200. Now, in fairness, Hansen was not at her best in this one. I read something like she had an eating disorder. She came out and admitted she had an eating disorder like a couple months before this camp. Like,
man, I feel like that's no. I'm not gonna make fun of people with eating disorders.
No, but like it's indicative of like an issue, a certain issue.
I just feel like the excuses now are just getting weirder and weirder. First, we have what's his name, Bohachinia, saying that he was drinking wine the night before his Adesanya.
No, but like in fairness, it wasn't like she came out after the fight and was like, "Oh, I had an eating disorder and that's why I didn't win." She said it like before even the fight started. Like she was talking about her life, right? So it's not like it was an excuse. I'm just saying, like, you'd have to think, there's something going on mentally that's taking away from her performance. Like, I'm sorry. Like,
I hear you. I mean, for the record, for my next fight, I just want to let my opponent know that I also have a eating disorder and that I eat everything I like. So that counts as an eating disorder. I too have an eating disorder. It's uncontrollable. I can't stop. My bubble tea addiction is going nuts right now. Nuts. Okay, but fair enough. Yeah, but shouts out. I mean, anything.
No, but Jazz Division. Yeah, I don't want to take that away from her because like she came out and she, her jiu-jitsu is great. Like everyone knows this. And of course it's women's MMA. Like I hate to say it like that. So you never know. Like you can look really good against one fighter and then all of a sudden you face somebody who's higher ranked, like in any division. But it's more exacerbated in women's MMA just because of the lack of depth. But you can face another fighter who's higher ranked, and all of a sudden everything we've talked about goes out the window, right? But she's a Canadian. She looked awesome, and she won. So yeah. Right. Also, the stripper who was in Joe Rogan's arms,
he's gonna have a fun time explaining that one to his wife. And
right. In fairness, I don't think he knew she was a stripper until like
afterwards. After. Yeah, I saw an announcement from Helen Yee. I'm like, what is going on with the UFC?
In fairness, apparently she's like really, really good and was actually doing MMA while stripping to pay the bills, which says something about like the state of MMA today more so than it does about her stripping. But like,
that is funny. That's a good take.
Like if you have to resort to stripping the bills.
For all those guys who like to sexually assault strippers, be careful. Yeah. Like, women are learning.
Vanessa Dimopoulos will fuck you up.
Pardon?
Vanessa Dimopoulos or whatever her name is.
Yeah.
I hate to say it like that, but whatever her name is, she'll fuck you up.
Yo, man, yeah. Don't get caught slipping. No,
but I think it does say something. If she has to resort to stripping to pay her bills, there's something to be said about like not even just like MMA in general, like MMA in terms of UFC and fight money, but like if MMA is very viable in like other leagues, right? And scouting in MMA in general, like,
even as pro fighters, I might know a pro fighter who gets paid like less than like $1,000 for a fight.
Yeah.
So like it's not. Yeah, no, this is not a profession for money. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's not.
It's a love sport. You do it because you love the sport, like.
Yep. Sad times. No, I have so many more jokes about that, but let's end the podcast here because I don't want to get canceled. I don't want to work one day. So
yeah, that's fair. All the opinions were of Michael Asiffo
for the last 40 minutes, like having nothing to say. Jeremy, any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
Great card. That's all I gotta say.
Jeremy reminds me of like if there was like a black version of the Daily Stoic, that would be Jeremy. Just like
Oh yeah.
mm,
Jeremy doesn't speak often, but when he does,
gravitas.
Who's the Daily Stoic? Is that a podcast or something?
It's like I think it's like a Twitter page. It's like a meme thing. I'll send it to you.
Is it the face of Aristotle?
Yes, actually.
yeah.
Okay, threatening children. Well, not children, threatening listeners, because once again, I want to work one day. So, please, listeners, if you are listening, please, for some reason, and you have whatever kind of crazy idea of sharing this podcast, we would greatly appreciate it. I don't know why you would do it. We're mid, but you know,
We're mid.
to know people who like mid stuff, then we are probably the most mid podcast out there. That's something to boast about. So please, like,
We're a big fat okay.
yeah, it's exactly a big fat. Oh, yeah, we're the most okay podcast of black guys talking about MMA out there. Okay,
We do have a white guy who's on every once in a while if you'd like to join us.
once in a while. But apparently he's got some event that he's training for him. I don't know whether it's like stripping or something, but whatever. We love our friends no matter what they do. Yeah, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button. What else do they say on these podcasts?
Smash that like button.
Smash that like button. Make sure you leave a review on Apple. On the Apple, I don't even have a Mac. On the Apple Store, 5-star review and leave a comment. It's good for our algorithm. And yeah, if you don't, then Michael and Jeremy are going to come tag team you and the rest of your family.
Hey yo.
Hey yo.
Hey,
I love how Jeremy flexes and Michael doesn't. Hey, it could be a family of women. See, it's just sexy.
Oh man. In this in this crazy mixed up world where somehow in a UFC event Joe Rogan has a stripper in his arms, just remember, it's not as bad as it sounds. Trust me, everybody. Just remember, you got 3 things: you got life, you got family, and this podcast. Take it easy, everybody.